Hey guys, so we're starting a brand new unit today, all about polynomial functions, and it's gonna last about 3 to 4 weeks because there's a lot in it, and I just want to take our time and get through it. Don't worry, we got lots of time to do it. So the first thing is, what is a polynomial function? So a polynomial function is an expression that has a bunch of different terms that have a coefficient and a variable. Sometimes it doesn't have a variable, sometimes it does, but it basically just, polynomial stands for many terms, and so it's just a expression that has many terms in it, and terms can be something like 3x squared or 5, which is a term. 3x to the 6. These are all considered polynomials if you string them together. So an example of this might be y equals 4x to the 4 plus 3x3 plus x squared plus 5. This is considered a polynomial function because it has many different terms and they all come together. Another way that they might write this, instead of writing y, they write it like this, with this f of x in front of it, which just stands for, just means that this is a function of x, where x is our variable. In terms of, some people use y, some people use f of x. This is more mathematically kind of higher level math uses this a lot. For our case, it's okay that it has y of x, but I just want you to be aware that both happen. There's a couple different ways that your polynomial function can be expressed, and I just want to quickly go over those. So you could have your function expressed as a set of points. You can have it as a table of values. It can be in graph form, and we're going to get into more of that. It can be written as a function. There you see this one is y equals 2x plus 1, or it can be expressed as this is a mapping, where if the x value is 0, the y value is 1. If the x value is 3, the y value is 7. So those are all different ways that the function can be expressed. Another way to recognize a polynomial function or a function is to do this vertical, what's known as the vertical line test. So if it's a function, it only hits one point. In all places. And I'll show you how that works. So let's say that we have a function like this one. This is a cubic. If we pass a vertical line through any point on this graph, the vertical line will pass through it. And it will only pass the y once. So we can have one there. We could try again over here, and it only passes through once. So that's the vertical line test. Something that might not pass the vertical line test might be a function that looks like this, which is a function, believe me. But if you were to do the vertical line test through this, it passes 2 points here, which means it's not a function. So be careful with that, but that's how we tell if it's a function or not. Another thing with polynomials is that they talk about the degree of a polynomial. So in order to find out what the degree of a polynomial is, you look at the highest exponent on the variable. And in most cases for us, it'll be whatever that highest value is on our x's. So for example, if we had a function that looked like this, you would look and you'd say, what degree is this polynomial? 3 is the highest exponent on our x's because we have 3 and 2. 3 is the highest. So this is a degree 3. Now, it is possible to have a polynomial function that looks like this. If it doesn't have an exponent on it, the exponent is 1, which we've seen. So in this case, it's just a degree 1. So you always look for the highest exponent on the x value to say what degree the polynomial is. Another type of question you'll be asked is if it is a polynomial function or not. So let's do some of these examples and I'll go through why they are polynomial functions or why they're not. So f of x, let's do a first. F of x equals 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. Now this is a function with many terms where you have the coefficient and the variable on it. And so this is, yes, a polynomial. So all ours are going to look kind of like this one. B. This one, you'll notice that the x plus 2 is in the exponent position, and we saw those in a previous unit. So this is not polynomial. In fact, it is exponential. Okay, and for C, f of x equals 4. This is actually a polynomial. It might not look it, but it is a coefficient and it makes a line. So we can say that it is a polynomial. D is not polynomial. This is actually what is known as a trigonometric or trig, or people might call it periodic, because it has that sign, either it has a sine or a cos in it. That makes it not polynomial. E, 2x plus 3. Again, this is polynomial. It has different terms in it, so it is a polynomial. F is not polynomial. It is actually a root function. G, again, this one has a cos in it, so it looks like that trig or periodic, so it is not polynomial. Because it is a trig one. And the last one, f of x equals 1 over x squared minus 3. This is not polynomial either. This is a rational function. And so it's not going to look like, it's not going to follow the polynomial rules. Even though it has a polynomial on the bottom, because it's in that fraction form, it is considered a rational function. Okay, so those are some of the examples when you look at the functions. Why some of them you actually have to graph, or you have to look at them and do the vertical line test. Okay, there are some practice in the practice questions that you can try. Have fun.